What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Happy Friday, which means that this is the last day of this week that we're doing preview prediction videos. And today, we're going to be talking about the North Carolina State Wolfpack, a team last year that, hey, surprised me. I didn't expect much out of North Carolina State last year. Can they do it again in 2021? You're going to find out. Hey, please leave a like on this video if you are new. Last I checked, I think we're at 240 subscribers. So continue to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell as well, because we're going to start uploading every single day. So you want to know when I upload? Hey, it'll be every day at around 7 p.m. Central, which is 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Should be the same time pretty much every day, unless I decide to do something different for the weekend. Speaking of which, we're going to start top 10 players list this weekend on Saturdays. Tomorrow we're going to be doing top 10 quarterbacks, and then on Sunday we're going to be talking about conference power rankings. Again, not sure what conference I'm going to do yet, but I'll definitely let you know tomorrow. So without further ado, let's talk about North Carolina State in 2021. So North Carolina State this year is a team that it could do really well. Again, I'm not sure what to expect out of North Carolina State this upcoming year. People have said they're underrated. People have said they're overrated. Last season was a fluke. Last season was the beginning. I've heard everything. UNC State Wolfpack can tell me how you feel about your team, but I would feel pretty good if I were NC State coming into this year. But let's look at the talent that they have lost. Bailey Hawkman, Ty Evans. So two quarterbacks right away gone. So more than likely a new quarterback going to be coming in for NC State, as Hawkman was the primary starter. I can't remember if someone else ended up taking over for him last year at all, but Hawkman was that primary guy, so going to have to break in someone new. Zovan Lindsay is gone, an offensive lineman, gone to the transfer portal to Coastal Carolina. I did get that right in my video last week. Alan McNeil and Val Martin are gone off the defensive line, and McNeil especially was a really, really good player. Calvin or CJ Hart gone off linebacking group and defensive backs. Malik Dunlap and Tayon Palmer are gone. That's really all that stood out to me. Some leaders on defense last year, both stat-wise and vocally, are off this team. That includes McNeil. That includes Hart. I don't really think Dunlap and Palmer qualify, but solid players nonetheless. In a team that was pretty darn good last year. But it's not about what you lost. It's about what you have. And as far as that quarterback position, it's probably going to end up being Devin Leary. Can't remember if he started a game at all last year. Probably did. Should be that primary guy this year in my mind, unless someone else has come up through spring training that I haven't heard about. But no matter who the quarterback is going to be, in my mind, it's Devin Leary. You got a great running back in Zonovan Knight. Returning, coming back, he is absolutely fantastic. And you got some good wide receivers. Thayer Thomas and Emeka Emezi coming back as well. Emeka Emezi. However you say that, again, sorry if I pronounce any names wrong. But Emezi and Thomas, going to be those two guys to really lead this passing attack in my mind. And then on the defensive side, still some nice players. Daniel Joseph, Terrell Dawkins coming back on the defensive line. Peyton Wilson, 100-tackle player, really good linebacker. Isaiah Moore coming back as well. Shyheim Battle and Tyler Baker Williams coming back as well. So still some really nice overall pieces coming back for NC State. And if you're going to have a concern about this team, well, I don't really know. There are probably a lot of holes you got to fill, some places that maybe could use some improvement. But as far as overall, this looks like a solid team. I mean, they've got the talent. You're losing some guys on defense, but the schedule, in my opinion, sets up pretty nicely for them. That we'll take a look here in a little bit. I want to talk about how much I like Zonovan Knight just a little bit, though. I really do like Zonovan Knight. I think he's a really underrated running back. And if you remember last year, I thought Breece Hall was an underrated running back. Watch out for Zonovan Knight this year. Could be a 1,000-yard rusher. Emeka Emezi, again, however you say that first name. The Ohio State recruit, Emeka Egbuka, is pronounced Emeka, so that's how I'm going to say it, unless I'm told otherwise and screamed at in the comments. But Emezi, a real good wide receiver as well. If Devin Leary does end up starting, this could be a really dangerous offense in the ACC. Here's the schedule for NC State. If you look at what they did in 2020, 8-4 overall, 7-3 in the conference. They were 5th in the ACC, of course, because there weren't divisions last year, and they ended up losing in the Gator Bowl to the Kentucky Wildcats, a team that we just looked at yesterday. Hey, you guys know how this works. I'm looking at some games more than others. They're more interesting matchups to me. If they gets highlighted in green, it's a win. Highlighted in red, it's a loss. So without further ado, talking about NC State in 2021, we got to start off, of course, with the first game of the season, the game against South Florida. Yeah, I mean, just shouldn't be a problem for NC State. They should be able to get this nice and easy win here. South Florida's lost a lot of pieces over the years. This year, I don't expect much out of South Florida. Maybe middle of the road in the American Athletic, but nothing crazy. NC State should win this one. And that is the game that everyone's talking about on NC State's schedule early. It's the one that's the most interesting. A road game against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. So this is the Mississippi State team that we know I am not high on at all. And yesterday, if you watched that Kentucky video, you'll know that I have them beating Kentucky. This is a hard game to figure out for me because with this air raid offense, I think Mississippi State can do a lot of nice things. I just think they're being overrated. I'm not high on them. I don't expect them to do a whole lot of great things this year. Probably could be vying for last place in the SEC. I mean, and it's a Kentucky team that I'm really high on. I had them beating. This NC State team, I'm not quite sure what to think about them. But I think if NC State and Kentucky played this early in the season, I think NC State would beat Kentucky. And especially with this game here against Mississippi State. I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent, apologize. But with this game here against Mississippi State, this air raid attack is dangerous. But I think you got to give Mike Leach a couple years, and especially with trying to break in a new quarterback at the beginning of the season. I don't know how well it's going to go for Mississippi State in the early going. And I have this as a close win for the NC State Wolfpack. I really wanted to pick the loss. I think it could happen, but I do think NC State ends up getting this win on the road. Then a home game against Furman. The Paladins are coming into town, and they're not going to stand a chance. NC State should be able to roll over that one before they get into primarily ACC play within the last 10 weeks of the season. So the home game against Clemson, yeah, flash red up on the screen. Sorry, NC State, you were close to beating Clemson a couple years ago. I don't see you being close this year. Now, you do get them at home, so it could make things interesting. But when you look at this Clemson team, they're just so talented. Travis Etienne is gone, but Lynn J. Dixon, I think, is not being talked about enough. Justin Ross has been cleared to play this year. That's especially huge for the Georgia game. And DJ Uiagalelei just looks like he has the it factor. He looks like he can be the next big thing at this Clemson program. And the defense is going to be really good as well, highlighted by that front seven. This is going to be a really good Clemson team. There's no doubt about that. A top 5 team in everyone's book. You don't have to talk about this one any longer. Clemson should win the game. And then a home game against Louisiana Tech. Well, hey, it's a nice bounce back game for NC State. You should win this one. Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs are not great. They're not really all that, maybe middle of the road in their conference again, but should be an easy win for NC State. And now they get their bye week. And I think this is a really good place for a bye week because it comes before and what I think are going to be 2 tough road games. So a road game against Boston College. Again, if you've watched my underrated teams video, you'll know I have Boston College as an underrated team. I think they are an underrated team. And I think Boston College can do some really good things this year. Look at who they have at quarterback in Phil Jurkovec. A really, really nice player who can do a lot of great things. Now, Boston College doesn't have the run support that they would in previous years, but it's still decent. They still got good wide receivers as well, which is why Phil Jurkovec looks good. The defense is improving as well. I think this is a loss for NC State. How much talent NC State has on the offense, I don't think it's going to matter because I think that quarterback position for Boston College is just better. And with this being a road game as well, I think Boston College is going to surprise a lot of people this year. You'll see my thoughts on Boston College later in the year. But this is a really nice team. Watch out for Boston College this year. If you saw how they played Clemson last year, played them really close. This should be an interesting Boston College team to watch. This should also be an interesting game, but I do have the Golden Eagles beating the Wolfpack. And then a road game against Miami. On the road, Hard Rock Stadiums, they get into the second half of their schedule. And this I have as a loss as well. Miami, I think is going to be really good this year. You have De'Aaron King coming back. How healthy is he? Probably won't matter for the Alabama game as they have a shot to beat Bama, but it's nothing too crazy. Bama's just that good. So if De'Aaron King can stay healthy throughout the year, and with all the returning production that Miami has coming back, especially on the offensive end, Miami is going to be disgusting offensively. The defense should play pretty well as well, even with the losses of Rousseau and other guys on the defense as well. Still should play well. I'm giving Miami the win. A home game against Louisville, and Louisville is just a team that I don't like. I just don't like the Louisville Cardinal this year at all. They have a coach that's on the hot seat. They haven't been able to get things figured out. I just don't like Louisville this year. I don't think they're going to do anything super special. I'm giving the Wolfpack the win here in this one. And then a road game against Florida State. So Florida State, this is another interesting team because Florida State has Mackenzie Milton at quarterback, and this is a road game for the Wolfpack. As of right now, I'm giving the Wolfpack the win, but here is why I think Florida State can win this game. We know what Mackenzie Milton can do when he's 100% healthy. Is he going to be 100% healthy at any time throughout the year? I don't know. That's going to be an interesting story to watch is Mackenzie Milton. But there's still some great talent surrounding the Florida State offense. It just hasn't been able to get put to use because the quarterback play has not been great. And if Milton can get healthy, hey, maybe even Chubba Purdy can step in for a little bit. The last name sounds familiar. Yes, brother of Brock Purdy. If he can step in there, play some roles, and if the defense can improve mightily for Florida State, Mike Norvell is going to have a really good squad, and I could see this game being really close. That's the tough thing about these late season games. You just never know how good teams are going to be. And with this game right here, right now I'm going to give the win to the NC State Wolfpack. I can see Florida State winning the game if they can get their stuff together and if Milton can play well and the defense can improve. A road game against Wake Forest, and I'm not expecting much out of Wake Forest this year. Sam Hartman, at least from what I've read, is coming back. Might not be, have to fact check myself after this. But whoever happens to be the quarterback at Wake Forest, again, won't matter in my mind. NC State, especially defensively, is going to be too good to win this game, and Wake Forest doesn't have the right pieces on the offensive side. I like NC State to win this game here. And then Syracuse. Syracuse might be the worst team in the ACC besides Duke. Yeah, this is an easy win here for the NC State Wolfpack. And then they get North Carolina at home. So North Carolina, of course, a team that everyone's talking about this year. This is the team that has Sam Howell at the front. Yes, they're losing both of their 1,000-yard rushers, but they can still be a really, really good team. This is going to be a phenomenal team. And I have North Carolina at 11-1 and in the ACC championship game. Spoilers for when that video comes as we get closer to week 0, which, hey, is coming up in about a month and a half. Crazy, right? College football is almost back. But anyways, North Carolina. This is going to be a hard game for NC State to win. And yes, I know they get them at home just like they get Clemson at home. I don't know how much that's going to matter. Look, North Carolina, even on the defensive side, has a lot of really nice pieces, especially in the secondary. And if Zonovan Knight can get past the front seven, probably not going to have a great chance to make it past the secondary. This is a hard matchup for North Carolina State. Maybe I could see North Carolina State keeping this one close, but I do have North Carolina winning the game. And you'll know that, of course, if you watch my North Carolina video, in which case, hi, here's your rivals. North Carolina should win the game in my mind. They are the more talented team. They have the more talented players. And speaking of running backs, yeah, they're losing their 2,000-yard rushers, but they're getting Ty Chandler over from Tennessee. Was kind of a 1A, 1B with Eric Gray over there. This should be a really solid team in North Carolina State, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to compete with the Tar Heels this year. North Carolina wins the battle on Friday. So, hey, with that, you see 4 games are highlighted in red, and that means I had North Carolina State doing the same thing they did last year. Same record, 8-4. And the absolute floor I can see for this team is 9-3. I mean, with Clemson, Miami, and North Carolina on the schedule, and then you got some hard road games on the road against Mississippi State, Boston College, and Florida State. The best I can see North Carolina State doing is 9-3, and that's just a scheduling thing. They have the talent to maybe do a little bit better, and the schedule sets up nicely in some places, but in others it really doesn't. I only have them losing one of those road. Oh, they also go on the road to play Miami. But you could have them losing more. I have them losing 2 out of the 4. I think they're more talented right now than Florida State and Mississippi State. So I think they'll win both of those games. But you can do any kind of combination you want. But I would have Miami as a loss. And the floor again is 6-6 because of those road games that I talked about. Additional losses would be Mississippi State and Florida State. But I don't have them going worse than that. I think that's the absolute floor. Worst case scenario for NC State. This is going to be a solid team. If they can continue to what they did last year, which they have the talent to do so, this is still going to be a really good team come 2021. And with that, hey, that's going to do it when talking about NC State. Tomorrow, we're going to do top 10 quarterbacks as we start to get into the weekends of uploading content here. We're getting into the grind. We're a month and a half away from the season. Can you guys, just over a month and a half away. Can you guys believe it? Hey, and the next schedule preview we're going to be doing on Monday is Northwestern. But look out tomorrow. We're going to do top 10 quarterbacks. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. We're uploading every single day now. Subscribe, ring the bell, like, leave a comment. Just keep it PG. I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. Again, top 10 quarterbacks for the 2021 season. Goodbye.